starting off with our guest Stark. What do you have for us?
Boy, I got a pretty interesting one, I think. Surprisingly so. I really
Really?
did
Okay.
not think that this was gonna that this would be that sort. I have Mao no Musume wa Yasashiru. Sugiru,
Yeah. The Demon
Yasashi.
King's daughter, Yasashi Sugiru. Yeah.
The Demon King's daughter is too kind. Um
Hmm.
this is being done by Studio EMT. Original.
Okay.
It is a sort of like fan slice of life, semi comedy type, kind of hard to explain. But yeah, so yeah, the mall premise seems fun. So this is Demon King Ariman has a problem. His daughter Do loves everyone. Consequently, Ariman had to halt his invasion of the world in the worry that his daughter's behavior is not one befitting of a demon. He loves making friends, helping others, and bringing happiness to all creatures, including their. Armin, however, congratulates Du for her good deeds instead of scolding her. With the help of his aide Jahi, who is assigned as Du's master, the two try to rid her of her kind-hearted nature, so that the Demon King's daughter goes from a cute, adorable girl to an inhuman, cruel, and twisted demon. Um, yeah, so basically, like the series opens up where Armin is like just a conventional demon lord. But he basically won already. There's like no hero or anything like that. So they've won. They've
Okay. Okay.
dominated most of the world. Um, they have taken like there's like they have human slaves, but not every human is a slave. Some are just villages, but demons still sack those villages and stuff. Um, and yeah, so it's just like not a good time. Not a good time to be a human. Um, But then yeah, so Armin cancels his sort of plans for world domination to try to get to be more of a demon, but he is like a pretty stereotypical role, I feel like at this point for Akio Otsuka, who's voicing him. Because he is the
Mhm.
like doting father, grandfather type like character at this point.
Right. Right. Right.
Um a lot of his comedy bits come in with him spoiling Do or like congratulating her and then making like items for it's sort of like there's a kind of like an episodic gag with him where he like keeps trying to make these like powerful magic items to give to her, and they wind up backfiring in like a series of different ways. Like in one episode he tries to give her a what would you call it, this like powder that mind controls someone, and
Mm-hmm.
and they'll listen to commands. And so he initially tests it on Jahi, but then they both wind up getting roped into like helping this human village because Jahi's like the dust doesn't wear off on her. And then naturally Do wants to help this village out. But then when the villagers ask Jahi, like make a request of her, she has to obey it. So there's a lot of stuff like that happens where they kind of like turn this
I see.
like magic demon relic on its head.
Hmm. Okay.
And yeah, I would
So
say another
is it like an episodic kind of thing? Like
yes,
because she's
it's
like just
very
kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's
Yeah.
very episodic. There's like some minor like carry through of like characters and stuff that get added to the cast and everything. Um but ultimately it is a very sort of episodic thing. I'm trying to think of how I would describe one of the other like main sort of through lines of it where it kind of like it has a lot of sort of like tragic backstory with like the humans and stuff, and it lays it on like super thick. And then like Do comes in and sort of like brightens up their life or their day, so to speak.
Ah,
And I
yes, yes,
don't know
yes.
how to, I don't know what you would call that, right? Because it's kind of like a really sort of cheesy, indulgent, I feel like, what would you call it, theme or something like that?
Mm,
Right? Like I don't know, I don't know exactly how to describe that, whether it be a theme or just a through line or something. Um, but you get a lot of that, right? So the first is it one of the episodes essentially has like an old woman who can't stand, like she is paralyzed, right? Or rather like her legs like give out easily. Like she's got weak legs. And Do finds out that because of this, like she's got to sell her shop. She might move or something like that. Um,
mm,
and so Do winds up healing her shop. She can keep running her shop. There's another point where this same person, there's a backstory where she was like she's teaching Do how to like crochet these dolls that are like in the cover art here. But then she has all these other stuffed animals that she made for other people. Uh, but then it was like, then it shows you a flashback where it was she was making these stuffed animals for people who had passed on, or like in their like on
well,
their
okay.
like deathbeds or something. um and then it was and then there was something like she made them, and like I think they buried like either her husband's father with them or something with one of them. But then they're like, and then
Okay.
also, by the way, like her whole fucking family and kids died in a landslide too. So she makes
What?
like, so she still makes stuffed animals. And it's this like
So it's
long
this
scene.
weird thing where
It's like
it goes in
layering
like
on like tragedies. And then they're like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but now here's like Do to be cute and like sort of give them purpose through like these tragic backstories.
It's almost like one of those like journey series, again like something like Imagine no Tabi Tabi, where it's like the basic like premise is like cute or like the characters are cute, but then every time like they visit somebody, right? It's like we have all this story suddenly, like this village has a story, blah blah blah, and you're like, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of like that.
It's like it's yeah, it's these things that are like meant to literally be like super indulgent, tug at your heartstrings. Then you get like a really
Right,
cute
right.
scene with Do, and then we move on. Or like that's sort of
Yeah,
episodic
yeah, yeah.
nature we're going through. And it's usually resolved in a pretty like silly or like slapstick Deus Ex Machina type magic way. In the
Mm,
case of the old woman with the stuffed animals, she was gonna like give them away, but Do winds up using like some sort of magic to basically give them life, like
mhm,
Sugurumi style or however whatever those called. Um, yeah, and so that's kind of like the way a lot of episodes go.
mm.
One of the other
Does it
major
does she ever take like actions? Although obviously it's only been like a couple of episodes, right?
do
But does it feel like
oh
there will be
100%. She
you
is the one that resolves everything.
well
And
what I
she's
meant is
winding
that
up like improving like human lives, and then sort of I feel like in some ways like also sort of kind of twisting Jahi and Adiman, the demon lord, their sort of perspectives too, where they're kind of just like, okay,
mm,
sure, why not? Like at one point, there's one part of an episode where she's learning magic, and she is not good at sort of like any type of magic except for making ice and snow. And
mm,
it like foreshadowed earlier on that like they have this like slave mining camp or something for the humans,
mm.
and it's like persistently like brutally hot. And
Right,
so
right, right.
Do winds up like creating like a snow thing and like cooling down everything and stuff like that. But so it's weird where I'm like, it's weird because on one hand it's like, okay, cool, but on the other hand these are still human slaves, so I think you guys should probably be like
Yeah, I
overthrown
mean
and killed.
Yeah,
So
that
like,
part is like very,
mm,
it's the usual Japanese thing where it's like,
we're
oh,
gonna
by
have
the
to
way,
take a
it's
lot
like
of steps to get to like a point where Do is, kind of making things right in a way. It's like, okay, maybe they'll have a change of
yeah, yeah,
heart,
yeah.
but it's like I
I
am
mean, this is like the
watching
same thing
demons
as the isekai stuff,
beat
right? So
someone. So like
they're like, I'm a really kind slave owner to these dark elves. It's like
they're
that sort of
not. They're
isekai
not
thing.
though. They're not. Like that's why
Yeah,
I'm saying like there are like other demon guards that like beat the shit out of them and it's like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
okay, like that's kind of crazy. Sure.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, so either way, that's kind of like basic premise. I would say what's layered on top of that too is the fact that Do is voiced by Misaki Kuno. Um
Yes, the
yeah.
kindergartner herself.
Yeah, so Misaki Kuno, if you don't know who that is, you're insane. Watch things. She's the
Yeah,
voice
if
of
you've
Fabuta
like
in
if you've
Abyss.
heard of like a very young voice, like young kind of like lolly voice or like kindergartner level voice, chances are she has probably voiced that role.
Yeah. And now she has a decent amount of range, but she is very much doing the I guess she's technically she's doing even something like as recent as uh Mao no Hitorigoto. The Apothecary Diaries. There you go. She's
Oh
Zhao
yes, yes,
Lan.
yes.
She's like the side friend.
Hmm.
And so so it's the same sort of voice. Well, oh yeah, I mean she's Ichihara Nina in Metal Master.
Yes, yes, yes,
So yeah,
yes.
so you'll like recognize the voice immediately. And so on each episode too, which interestingly enough, there's usually like some corny, like cheesy, what would you call it, like children's like song that she sings too.
Oh,
Episodically
really?
too,
Okay.
episode specific. Yes, yes.
Nice, nice, nice,
It's just
nice, nice.
it's literally just overindulging with Misaki Kuno. They're like, we got her, we
Yes,
may as well
yes.
like, you know,
Get all the juice, squeeze
yeah,
everything.
we're juicing this as much as we can. Um
Can
and
I
yeah,
also ask
so
a
it's
real quick
fun.
question while
It
you're
is very fun
before
though.
you go through yeah, before
Yeah.
you go through like the other like aspects of the anime, like audio visuals and so on. But in terms of the story, just like one last thing, is the most of the focus on kind of keeping to this not slapstick rhythm, but this like comedic, kind of more not comedic, but I guess it's like more relaxing, um, like back and forth rhythm and focusing on like the individual stories of like the people she's trying to save, and then kind of obviously the helps kind of helps out their troubles, and it's that sort of like rhythm, or is it a little bit more focused on um kind of how Do or like are there bits and pieces of like how Do is like trying to interact and like respond to people and like her thought processes, potentially foreshadowing something like near the end of the season, right? Something like Do is Do has some changes to her character or something like that. Is that sort of like character development? Do you think it is in the works potentially with some sort of amount of like foreshadowing here and there, or is it mostly just like, oh, Do is helping this person, Do is helping that person kind of business?
Yeah, no, no, no. It's much more focused on that. It's much more focused on I feel like Doe potentially changing people around her rather than like her having much like character development.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because as far as like character development, like
Mm.
I don't think there's really much to develop with Doe, right?
Okay, okay. I see, I see, I see.
Like considering her nature, I feel like she's kind of like at the end of like what you would do, like, and they're not going to turn around and be like, well, now she's evil or something, or
Mhm.
she's growing cynical or something like that.
Okay, okay, okay. I see.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's more so about her changing others, than other than her.
Yeah, because it's like those two can have like relatively different like story outcomes or story dilemmas. So that was just like one thing I wanted to ask. But
Yeah,
okay, okay, pretty good. All right, sorry for the tangent. But anything
yeah,
else
but
on in terms of
it's
like
fun enough.
yeah, okay,
Oh no, yeah, I
like
just
audio
think I
visuals, I
think one of the
guess.
major highlights with that is like I said, it is mainly the cast. The even the ED is like a somewhat like sing along like type thing of Jahi, Do, and Aramin. So you do get
Yep, yep.
Akio, Otsuka, do it performing that as well, which is very fun. So I think like that's another big highlight of all this. The audio visuals, like I said, this is EMT squared, so it's not like terrible.
Hmm.
They're not like I would say this is probably one of EMT squared's most recent, pretty good looking, uh, pretty good looking series, to be honest. Because like, I mean, I'm trying to look back and see what they've done like super recently.
Yankee Squared has been. I mean, they're not necessarily prolific, but they've done a decent amount of stuff over the years. So,
Yeah, but like the problem is like I would say like Shumatsu Train was one of their
oh,
better
the
looking
Catch Me at the
things, and that
Ballpark
was
is the last
great.
one
Yeah, Catching at the
we like
Ballpark
reviewed. Yeah.
was not hot visually. I feel like
Most of part of
it was
Witch's
like
death was
fine.
okay, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I
Oh,
said, like they have their moments, but they're pretty like inconsistent. I would say more
yes,
than
yes, yes.
anything. I mean, even if you look at something like Kuma Bear, like season one was very solid. Season two was like was a downgrade visually, frankly.
Yeah, yeah. I
Looked
think
very
they're also
different.
probably a little bit dependent on their budget as well, because some of these are very niche series. So,
Yeah, so they bounce back and forth.
yeah.
But this however has been looking this is pretty decent. This is a solid look. Um
Pretty good.
the just in general obviously, but also I think the style adaptation. The manga from what I could tell
Right.
had a pretty different style than this, but I think this
Hmm.
they like adapted and did its own thing pretty nicely. There are a lot of people with like these sort of like broader nose bridges and everything, and then some characters that like don't even them like Do does not even they don't even show a nose. They just have like a blush shading for more like childish characters, and then like more serious characters have that full broader nose and whatnot.
Okay, okay, okay. I
But
see.
I think I think they did a pretty good job as far as that goes. And then yeah, like audio, it's just fine. But props to them. Again, props to them for having like sort of the Misaki Kuno sing like
Yeah.
sing along episodes episodically, which has
I think
been
that pairing of like
enjoyable.
Misaki Kuna, the trio that I saw again of like Misaki Kuna doing the daughter, what is it? Who was it? Oh, Ohashi
Oh,
Ayaka,
Ohashi Ayaka
who does
doing
like what?
Jahi,
Yeah,
the mentor.
yeah,
Yeah.
she does like a very energetic. For those of you who don't know, Oahi tends to do a lot of these like kind of JK, Joshikose, like a schoolgirl, energetic, kind of like almost leaning into ghetto like style of girls a lot, energetic, kind of outgoing, characters. She does, I think, some of the kind of main four leading roles in both the Master Cinderella girls as well as Bang Dream. So that was a good fit, and then obviously the father being Otsuka Akio, that sort of casting was very, very well done, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, that's all been very fun.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like I said,
Okay.
yeah, the OPD
So
are fine. They're fun. They're like
mhm.
good. They're not going to be winning any awards this year, but like for the type of show it
Right.
is, it's pretty enjoyable. I don't know. I don't really think there's really that much to say. I think the biggest thing about else to say, I think the biggest thing about this series, or where it is sort of I don't really know what you would call it, whether it be because you can't call it like you can't really call it like tragedy porn or anything, right? Because like the indulgence isn't the tragedy. Like the
Yeah,
indulgence
yeah,
comes in the
yeah,
form
yeah.
of being like, what if this like person had this really tragic backstory, but this like cute little demon actually like fixed everything as much as they could,
Hmm. Right,
given the
right, right, right.
circumstances. And like that's kind of like the super indulgent part. So I don't
Mhm.
I really wouldn't know what to paint it in like a broad brush,
Yeah.
but it's very
It's,
enjoyable for that.
okay. What would you rate it?
I would give it probably like a strong 6. You know, I wouldn't say like I think this is one to check out more so than not if it's something that would interest you this season. But I don't know if I would
Mhm.
necessarily say that this is something that I would tell like anyone to check out like at any point in time. Like I feel like maybe a
Yeah, this is
7
not
would be
like
a
a
little too
great like
high.
must watch of the season. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like a seven's a little high, I feel like. It's a mall 7.24. And I would say that's a fair mall rating. But my
Mm,
my true rating would be like a 6, 6.5 maybe. But it's definitely
okay.
good for that. If you like those types of series, if you want just like a easy like something that's gonna like tug at your heartstrings a little bit, and then just like have this cute bullshit on screen, and you want like an easy watch like that, just something to really like unwind with. I think this is a solid series to do that with.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dark. Again, Dark just covered Mao no Musume wa Yasugiru, also known as The Demon King's Daughter's Too Kind. I believe the abbreviation in Japanese is MaoMusu, but yeah, done by EMT Squared. Original was a manga original, obviously got adapted into this anime for the Winter 2026 season. Has great casting, voice acting casting and the overall kind of flow of it, right, is it has its sort of like suddenly like random tragic background exposition kind of stuff, but overall, pretty, um, I want to say lighter hearted flow, right? So overall pretty enjoyable. So please do check it out if you have the time.